You're listening to No Hipsters Pod.
It's sometime in a bitch.
Please do. Just read it to her. Read it to her. Read it to her. Okay, I'll read it to you. Let me read it to her. I said, y'all fat, nasty, stinky, dirty, white, racist pigs can kiss my ass.
Episode 46, No Hipsters Pod. It's your boy Ronce, the founder of NoHipstersLaw.com. And this week, our co-host is brand influencer and entrepreneur, Emmanuel Egolum. Emmanuel, say what's up.
Yo, what's going on, people?
Welcome back.
Happy to be here.
Yep. All right, let's get right into it. The big news, which is really at this point probably 18 hours old, is that Sha'Carri Richardson made her big return to the track and came in last during the 100-meter sprint at the Prefontaine Classic in Oregon. And this is very embarrassing, I just have to say.
Embarrassing.
She definitely didn't do herself any favors on and off the track. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You know?
Yeah, no, this is true. I have to say, first of all, I was devastated for her. Because there was a lot of hype, and she did kind of she was talking, she put out this TikTok this week, saying that I'm coming back, yada yada. It was such this Nicki Minaj audio, and there was just a lot of braggadocio, and I get it, right? She did she became a star because she won, and it's one of the flashiest runners we've seen probably since FloJo, and people wanted her to win. But first of all, there was a big hiccup with the whole marijuana situation. Right after she became a big name and she couldn't do the Olympics. Right. But even before that, I feel like Twitter, and in particular Black Twitter, kind of set her up because they were hyping her and saying, oh, yeah, da-da-da. But all the evidence showed that the Jamaican girls are faster runners. Even back then, she was going to lose, or let's just say she was probably going to lose to them at the Olympics. And so for her to finally get to run against them and then not just lose to the fastest women in the world, Elaine Thompson-Herah and Shelly-Ann and Sharika.
Yep.
But she lost to a whole bunch of no names. It was bad.
Here's the thing, right? So I feel like the Olympic Committee definitely did her a favor by keeping her home from the Olympics because, as you already said, she was up against superior runners from the world's best producing track athletes ever.
Right.
And for her to kind of poke out her chest and beat her chest and rest on the fact that she has the sixth fastest time in that event in history.
This is one race. I'm not done. You know what I'm capable of. Count me out if you want to. Talk all the shit you want. Because I'm here to stay. I'm not done. I'm the sixth fastest woman in this game ever. And can't nobody ever take that from me.
I mean, when do we ever get off to the point where we're celebrating sixth place finishes and really celebrating mediocrity in that sense? Just looking at that one statistic. And then on top of that, okay, keep going.
I was going to say, sixth of all time is impressive. I'm not going to take that from her, but that's pointless when you're saying this after a race that A, you came last in, number one, but correct. B, the person who came first just put the second fastest time ever. So she's now 0.05 seconds away from FloJo's all-time record. So that was a record race. And so it was a weird thing to say, but I'll let you finish up. My bad. Go ahead.
No. I think you're right with that. I think that, in that month off that she had from the Olympics, she should have taken all that energy, all that emotion, and channeled it into having a superb performance yesterday. And I kind of feel like her demons are really slowing her down and taking her focus away from where it needs to be, which is running her best race on the track.
Right.
I think she spends a lot of time battling people on social media.
Way too much time.
And tuning into the critics. And that same smoke that you have for everybody in the social media space, you need to have it for your competitors.
Right.
That's why you got your boot smoked on the track, because your head is not your head is in a race. So here's what I think she needs to do. She's clearly a talented young woman. She's clearly one of the best sprinters that we have coming out of America. I think she needs to see a sports psychologist. I think she's battling way too many demons right now, and until her head is fully in the game, she's never really gonna peak and fulfill the potential that she clearly has, right?
Right.
And then I think as an athlete, if you're going to, for lack of better words, if you're gonna write checks that your feet can't cash, I think the answer is that you need to actually improve your performance, off the track. Like, you need to be more disciplined, and whatever that may encompass. I'm not a track runner, but I think that all of her efforts in the track space need to be fully aligned in order for her to, cash these checks that her mouth is writing so far. So
it's just, and this is, I feel like in a lot of ways she was done in by, and I know I had said Black Twitter earlier, but I think I'm going to even like go a level down and say Black Girl Magic Twitter, where like we want these, Black women in like whatever area to succeed. And to an extent, you start to like hype them to the point where, unfortunately, some of them actually start to buy into the hype. Like, I feel like Sha'Carri bought into her own hype in a way that I don't think anyone should. And so it was like, I'm the shit. And like, I kept like, people would comment on like, okay, the lack of humility. And for me, I'm like, you know what? I think anyone who's, an elite athlete has the right to be like, boastful or whatever. But people
to an extent.
But people kept saying like, listen, like this is a little too much. And then there was this just very like aggressive pushback. You guys always want to humble Black women, yada yada yada. And like, I had to like just pause. Like, listen, she's gonna be up. Like, there haven't been any elite white runners. Like, I don't even know when last I saw any white person in like,
50 years or so.
But yeah, probably. And even, like,
not even joking.
No, maybe I saw like one, like maybe 12 years ago. Usually, like, it's always other Black people. The race yesterday was nothing but Black women. Like,
correct.
She is going to be against Black women. Like, so I don't know that argument really applies here. And unfortunately, people were just so dug into that line of thought, like, oh, you're only saying this because she's a Black woman or yada yada. But it's like, no, like, she is going to go up against women who are showing themselves to be faster based on the times that they're recording in different like races at separate events. Because at their own trials, Jamaica was putting like, better numbers. So like, we already knew this was going to happen, like when they finally met each other. But for her to like really just come in last against like, I mean, she lost to two. You said she's like the best come out of America. She lost to two Americans yesterday. She also lost to a lady from Switzerland, of course, an African lady from Switzerland, and this lady from Cote d'Ivoire. Like, it's crazy.
Here's the thing: she doesn't need to be more humble. I don't like that argument as well, because I feel like as an athlete, like, you're supposed to. It's fine if your trash talk or your swagger is part of the package, because I just feel like it makes it more entertaining. Mm-hmm. And for some athletes, it's kind of like the psychological edge. It helps you run faster, perform better, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But if you're not going to be humble, you need to run faster.
Right.
Point blank. Nothing else matters.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about your performance on the track. If you're, to me, she kind of comes off as kind of like Conor McGregor, where he is now at this point of his MMA career, right? Mm-hmm. Like, all your hype is built around the marketing and the style and the flair,
right?
And everything else that has to do with your aesthetics and not much to do with your performance. So like,
I feel like he's gotten cooked in like his last couple of fights, right?
Like, he's like 1 out of 4 in like his last fights.
Wow.
But because he's such a cash cow, like he's always going to be like a top billing type of attraction. And I kind of feel like that's where Sha'Carri could potentially be heading if she doesn't like right the ship immediately. So
hate to see it. Hate to see it.
And it's all self-imposed. So
exactly, a lot of it is self-imposed, and a lot of it like is like I said, I think people, the fans, if you will, have really set her up. Like, oh, that talking shit, not like she should have been encouraged to be a little quieter. She's been encouraged to like all that social media action is just way too much. Like, this is just a disaster. But she's only 21, and I think she had a lot of time to learn,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of time to steer the ship in different directions. So, listen, I was devastated for her. I just because I just knew, and the whole time when I used to see her brag, the reason why I didn't like it is because I knew people would revel when she finally underperformed, inevitably.
Here's,
'Cause, go ahead.
so here's the thing, and I kind of want to go back to your point about how social media is kind of like adding to the bubble.
Mm,
Like America definitely has this thing where they love a captivating, like successful ratchet.
right.
And I kind of feel like they're kind of building and playing into it. Like media is definitely like using her for clicks.
Egg.
A
Exactly.
100% use her. So for example, so like in combat sports, right? Like the rule of thumb in media is to like never interview somebody after a fight who just got knocked out because you just potentially don't know like what's going to come out of their mouth. And I kind of feel like by sticking a microphone in front of her face after taking the sizable L that she took yesterday, it's kind of like akin to doing the same thing. Like the media just knew that she was going to say something hot and they got it from
Right.
her. Like, so
just the whole thing is just it's so bad. Like it's like she needs better advisors. She needs to just probably just break from social media because she's just it's all bad. All bad. Just,
complete rebuild.
yes, we need an overhaul. Let's move on and talk about the Essence remix. Wizkid and
Mm.
Thames, and now Justin Bieber are now did the Essence remix together. Overall, it's kind of like a quote unquote lazy remix, if you will. Like the song is generally the same, but we have a verse from Justin as well as him doing one of the choruses. Wow, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I liked it.
What do you
I
like about the
think
song?
I think Justin's voice works with the song because you have to remember, like, I don't think, first of all, Wizkid has never been like a big vocalist.
Sure.
And I don't think Thames has she's not like a Beyonce singer, right? It's like a very like, there's no melisma or whatever. It's just straight, straight singing. And so because of the way both of them sing, Justin could kind of actually does sing in the same way. So it works. That's my thoughts. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
So like I'll start by saying that I'm a big Justin Bieber fan, right? I think the man
Okay.
is extremely talented. I feel like he puts out quality projects.
Mm-hmm.
He's got bops, he's got hits. He can sing. He's really matured throughout his lifetime from a musical perspective and lens. In relation to this song, I feel a lot of things. I'll try to go through that as succinctly as possible. I feel that his addition to the song really, one, it doesn't add anything to the song. Sonically it sounds fine, but if you wanted to do a remix, especially to a song of this caliber, um, Made in Lagos is a special project. Essence is a special song, and I think
Mm-hmm.
what people really like about the song is that the success of the song was like very organic, right? So it kind of felt like a huge win for West Africa, Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
Wizkid. And I kind of feel like by adding, somebody of Justin Bieber's caliber, it kind of takes away uh, from the organic success that the song was already experiencing.
I know what you. So you kind of feel like they're getting this boost that
It's
makes it. Yeah, I get what you're trying to say. It just feels, and now it starts to feel very. I hate this term. It now starts to feel too commercial, right? And listen, if we want West African music, Nigerian music in particular, to be global in that way, I think this is a good thing, right? I think Justin Bieber, as big of a hit as Essence has been, it only just cracked the Billboard Hot 100 like 2 weeks ago, right?
it's on like 40 something. It's like mid 40s right now, I want
Right,
to say.
exactly, right. And so
Yeah.
it just cracked and was clearly, I'm sure it was going to go, continue climbing up the chart. But the fact of the matter is that it only just cracked the Hot 100, and now you have one of the biggest artists in the world hop on it. The song is going to shoot up, you know. So yeah, right now it's at number 44.
So I kind of feel like, you know, music from other regions of the world have always kind of lagged in terms of their assimilation into American culture. So like saying that he just cracked the top 100 isn't necessarily a sign that like the song needs this artificial boost. I just think that that's just the natural timeline of how, American culture digest music from other cultures and other regions.
Right. No, definitely. I'm not even going to argue against that. What I'm saying is this Justin Bieber being on that song is going to expose it to so many people who might have never cared to listen or even know who Wizkid is, right? And so as much as we might not like, okay, yeah, it's not going to be about Justin, but I think overall it's a net positive. Because this song, so I guess we're gonna get the first week of of scoring with the remix on the airwaves, and so this Monday we're gonna see what it actually does. But it's probably gonna go from number 44 to the top 20 or even the top 10, and that is a good thing. You know what? Let me just say this: Wizkid already a big star, but not even a big enough American star to have cracked the song. Earlier, number one, but number two, Thames, for instance, is pretty much unknown. So think about what this does for a Thames.
Fair point. So I think the macroeconomics of including Justin Bieber on the song are pretty clear, right? I don't think they're irrefutable, and we get it. However, it still doesn't sit right with me from a pure microeconomic, pure music lover,
artistic level.
And
gotcha.
so let's go back to let's stay in this world for a second. Like, how could we make the song better? And for me, I feel like if you're going to make a remix, I feel like there's a couple things that they could have done in order to make it more palatable to me, because I think that's my perspective, but two, even from a less watered down commercial perspective. I think one, they could have changed the beat, right? If you want to make it a remix, change the beat, make it a real remix, get back in the lab, get back in the studio, and give it a different feel.
Right. Okay.
And then put Bieber on it. And then I think you have some room to experiment and play there and make it more palatable.
Okay, so I guess your issue is less with Bieber on it and more the fact that they threw Bieber on basically the same song is your issue.
Precisely.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, honestly, they probably could have and they could have kept the general sound the same and kept the melody the same and just maybe add a few jingles to make it sound different. But I know what you mean. Yeah. 100%. I mean, listen, I think we grew up in the bad boy era of remixes, and so
that's exactly what I was thinking too.
We were kind of spoiled with remixes, 100%. And so they just don't do it like that anymore. But yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Go ahead.
Or even two, to kind of end on this note, like if they wanted to make a remix, why not put a rapper on it? I know that they use Skepta on a song, which is fine, but if you want to break into the American market and make it a bigger song, like why not put an American rapper on it who's currently popping? And for me, I feel like at that point in time, like I say, you go out on a limb and you put Jadakiss on it. Who's had all right. Who's had a brilliant reawakening with his performance on Verzuz at MSG. I feel like that could have, and he has a history of doing songs
of great remixes.
Fantastic with R&B artists throughout decades. So I feel like he would have been the more practical choice in that.
I feel like you're just being a fan, which good, but that would make zero. Jadakiss on. Stop it. Stop.
So wait a minute. He's good enough to do a song with Mariah Carey's, the Ushers.
Yeah, with Mariah Carey in 1997. Yes, this is a middle-aged man. It would make no sense to have him on the song. He's old.
Agreed. Age has nothing to do with the song, though. He can still. I think Jadakiss can still put out a song today and have it resonate more than a Justin Bieber addition to.
Okay.
That's my hot take. That's my hot take.
Yeah, that was Jesus. Wow. But okay. I was actually thinking Drake would probably been a good addition, but I think that might have been too obvious since he and Wizkid have worked together before. But yeah,
that's another conversation for another day.
Right. But Jadakiss is. I don't see that one, but you know what? We'll watch this space. I'll definitely circle back with you next week to see what numbers Essence does after the Justin Bieber edition. Let's talk about, because you brought it up. We actually didn't have it on the docket, but the Verzuz between the LOX and Dipset, which happened like two weeks ago at this point. That was surprisingly, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but that was quite entertaining. Like that was
hands down one of the top 5 performances at Madison Square Garden that I've ever seen. I've seen quite a few.
Wow. That was, you know what? First of all, it looked like they were going to fight at different points during that thing. And I actually thought Dipset was going to win because they have bigger hits, technically.
Not only that, they have bigger hits, and I say that with air quotes. I think they also have a stronger cultural influence on music. The whole Bird Gang,
right,
and then the influence that
the
Cameron
Pink
had in culture, exactly. Yeah. So from a cultural aesthetic standpoint, they won from there. But I just think they really kind of underestimated what the LOX brought to the table, and it showed.
Right. It was, and I don't think they prepared either. And the LOX seemed like they planned their stuff out.
So 2 things, you definitely hit the nail on the head. According to Jadakiss, they were having rehearsals and practices, and they kind of got back into their old bad boy bag and wanted to make sure that from a performance perspective, they were on point. And I think what really killed Dipset is, even from the onset, like they didn't really have a tight relationship. Like, and I'm not sure if you heard, but Cameron was on his way out of MSG.
I heard that.
And wasn't even going to do the verses. So there was definitely a lot of tension backstage with him and the group members and the people that he wanted to bring on stage who couldn't get in the building. So, they were down 20 by the time they even stepped foot on that stage, and it just got worse from there.
Yeah, but you brought up the remix with Mariah, and so I don't know why Joel's thought, like, why did he? I was like, why did you just set yourself up like that?
Tech, why you think that? I love my niggas, but I just don't think these niggas like Tech. They think we in jail. They think we in jail. We performing for Attica. Now they switching it. It's scary hours. No, it's scary hours.
He walked right into the mousetrap.
I was like, oh my goodness. And they just keep going hit after hit. He plays like the song with J-Lo and then the song with, I was like, yo, man.
So that goes back to the preparation that the LOX did. They actually game planned for, if Dipset plays this song, we're going to play that song.
Right.
If they talk about this, we're going to hit them with that. So that was actually, I was in the playbook. The DJ who orchestrated the whole thing had a list of songs for when, if Dipset, brought up a topic of conversation that was da-da-da-da-da, they would just hit him with songs from that playlist, from that category, and they played it perfectly.
Listen, I was so impressed. Granted, I will say, though, a lot of those songs are featuring the LOX. So, and I'm not to take away from them, but as opposed to Dipset songs where it's like, okay, these are actually their singles. So, but yeah, listen, brilliant. In either way, it's still like the LOX rapping on these songs, but I feel like they cheated a bit, just a little bit.
You know what? I can't take anything away from the LOX. I feel like that beating could have been worse. They could have brought out Diddy. They could have used like the original song tracks where the lyrics were on the songs. But the LOX went a cappella the entire performance. They just had, and not a cappella, but they went off of the beat. There was no,
and there was like
words on the tracks.
Right. And I think one of them, I think that's the rumor. I don't know how true it is, that Jadakiss actually freestyled like the one verse that like really went viral. Either freestyled or it was a brand new verse he wrote. Either or, but like it was impressive stuff.
Oh, 1,000%. They were. I think they were old freestyles, but the fact that they were putting up freestyles against like Dipset songs and still winning those rounds is the story.
Did you see the post by Kanye last night that he since deleted?
So I caught wind of that. It's
quite
situation.
Yeah, it's menacing. It looks like a group chat, and it's Kanye, and Kanye adds Pusha T, and then let me pull the tweet up. It's some really like weird shit.
Super cryptic, right?
Yeah, super cryptic. So like it shows like has all these names in this group chat, and then there's a D, so it has all the first initials the way like iPhone is, and there's a D in there. And so Kanye goes, the screenshot goes, you added Pusha to the conversation, and then he posts a picture of the Joker, and then he sends a message to the group, I live for this. I've been fucked with by nerd-ass jock niggas like you my whole life. You will never recover. I promise you. Now, the assumption is this is about Drake. I'm not really sure we have enough evidence to really know that.
It's a little early.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I'm not really sure. But I mean, so apparently this is all in response to Drake's verse in a song that dropped like a week or two ago. And so, I mean, I don't know how true any of this is. But I mean, of course, this is all, assumption. But that is what they're saying.
Trippie Redd's betrayal song, right?
Right, exactly. And I think Drake, there's like, listen, I'm still catching up. Like, apparently there's some reference to a green watch that Virgil Abloh designed and yada yada. Like, I don't know what's going on, but basically, all right, let me give you a lowdown. So on Life is Good with Future, he says, Virgil got the Patek on my wrist doing front flips, and then Kanye apparently wasn't happy about not receiving one from Virgil Abloh, and it appears that he was telling Virgil Abloh that he wants him to make him one as well, but to make his diamonds do black flips. So that's what that message is about. I'm reading this on Twitter right now. These are
rich nigga problems.
It is so...
I can't relate to none of this. It's just why? Why is this so petty?
Petty and ridiculous. Like, I'm like literally just read this off of Twitter, like, because there's this other message in the screenshot they're saying, "Oh, wear my green watch. I want you to make my diamonds." Like, what the fuck is going on? All right, but yeah, I can't keep up. It's really, and I hope people who are listening could actually follow what we're trying to say. But like, basically, Kanye West is obsessed with Drake. That's the main gist of what we're talking about. And so it's going to be interesting to see when Donda drops. And apparently, they're saying he and Drake are kind of like because Drake has Certified Lover Boy, which I still think is a terrible album title, but
horrible.
I see. I think you're going to miss an opportunity to shit on Drake. But
here's the thing. I feel like the title's awful, but it's setting the tone for what I think the album is going to be, right?
Well, but I think, super like quote unquote soft, as they say, right? But I think Drake, and this is why I'm such a fan, he's leaning into whatever like criticisms people have of him. Because if you remember, it's smart, because I think most of them are, in my opinion, invalid, right? Like, just don't apply. And I think people just have weird like hangups about Drake, and I think part of it is him being Canadian and light skinned and this and that, and so they just always want to like hit him with he's soft and this. When like oftentimes he's making like the same music that every other rapper's making, right? And so, when he dropped Scorpion in 2018, like the notes on Apple Music basically like listed all his like criticisms. Oh, he makes music for girls. Oh, he's this. Oh, he's that. Oh, he's that. And then it ends with, yeah, we know. And so I think Drake has been in this space for a while. I love to see it. I don't think that, he should be made to feel shame because of his success or because of his artistic choices. And also, I want to say this. Drake is very much the Ja Rule of today.
I knew that was coming.
We've had this conversation before. Drake is the Ja Rule, and I'm going to say it again on the record. He's the Ja Rule of today, and honestly, without social media, he probably would have been run out of the industry the way Ja Rule was. And so go ahead.
So I don't think anybody really cares too much about like his lane at this point. Like I'm a fan of Drake. I think he's most importantly, I think he's lyrically competent. So starting from just there, the fact that he can rap well, cool. I'm always going to support you. I support bars. But to tie it back into the Kanye conversation, I'm a fan of what's happening between them because it takes it back to like the essence of competition in rap, which to me makes the end product that much greater. So for Kanye to like smartly push back his album to kind of tie it in with the release of Certified Lover Boy, I'm for that because at the end of the day, as a consumer of music, as a consumer of rap, we're going to get the best product. We're going to get the best Ye.
You think so?
Drake. I know so. And I feel like that's where the beef is coming from most recently with the bars that Drake had in the Betrayal song, right? Because he was talking, all these fools that I'm beefing that I barely know, 45, 44, let it go. You ain't changing shit for me. It's set in stone. So he's saying that even if you drop on the same day, my number's going to do numbers. Like my
Right.
project is going
Yeah.
to do numbers. And, there's nothing that you could do as a 44-year-old washed up man. So I kind of want to see if that really comes to fruition.
Damn. So that's what I actually thought 44 was a reference to.
Nah, he was taking age shots.
Wow. I
Age shots, B.
love it. Listen, I love that Drake gets under Kanye's skin that much because I just think that Kanye has such a jealous personality. And so, it's just, and he is right. If they drop an album the same day, Kanye will get washed. And I think he kind of knows this. So, it's interesting. And also, I mean, they say, that he's pushing the date back because of possibly Drake. I think the real reason is that I think he's just worried that his album will underperform. And, but we'll see. We shall see. Go ahead.
100%. No, I was just gonna say, I feel like it's gonna be closer than people think it is. I feel like Ye's doing the right things with his pop-up concerts in Atlanta, pop-up concerts in Chicago. So I feel like he's doing the right thing and building hype, kind of like getting back to his roots. When he started out with the whole college dropout, grassroots
Is he really?
promotional effort.
I feel like he's just become like this. I just think that Kanye is what happens when a person's ego basically starts to eat them alive. Like, I just think that his head is so far up his ass, and it's probably just affecting everything about him at this point. Like, I just think those pop-up concerts at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium are ridiculous. I think him walking around with his face covered, it's the whole thing is stupid. Just either put the music out or not. I'm over it. And honestly, with the way Kanye was caping for Trump and went as far as to run a fake presidential race to peel away votes from the Democrats, honestly, we really should cancel Kanye.
It's tough to argue with that because to this day he really hasn't explained or atoned for that.
Right,
so
at all. And I think we really have short memory spans, and honestly, I was lost in the sauce myself. I was actually caught up in the hype and was like, I'm going to listen to this, and then I woke up next day, honestly, no, fuck Kanye. He's really. No, he really. Yeah. I don't think he did right by us, and as an early fan, I'm just very disappointed. Winners and losers, Emmanuel. I will let you go first.
Winners and losers this week. There's a few, but I think let's start off with losers. Sex workers, content creators on OnlyFans.
Yes.
I gotta put them in the losers category this week. OnlyFans came out with an announcement saying that they're going to ban content containing sexually explicit content going forward. That's going to kill a large amount of revenue for sexual creatives out there.
Not a sexual creative.
sexual content creators out there, for lack of a better word. So but I think at the same point it'll just pivot to another platform. I'm sure there'll be another OnlyFans popping up pretty soon, if not now. I heard Tyga actually is launching his own platform. So
Tyga. Oh yeah,
there's a lot of energy out there in that space.
Yeah, he's big on adult content.
Pause. I didn't know he's big on anything. That's crazy. No. Hey, yo.
No. Scratch that. What I mean is he apparently has been in that space for a while. So
touche.
Yes.
And winners for this week, I got to hats off to Greece's own, to Nigeria's own Giannis Antetokounmpo. He just recently became a part owner in the Milwaukee Brewers, first individual owner since 2005. Definitely want to see more people of color in the
ownership space.
So, tip of my hat to him. Definitely wish him the best and more continued success in his immediate future.
Nice. All right, and so I'm going to start my losers as well. Like you said the sex creatives, a loser. But I would say the biggest loser is actually OnlyFans. I think this is them fumbling the bag, and they are going to probably go they're going to be relegated to the margins the way Tumblr did when they banned
facts.
Explicit content. And so because this I mean there are other people who use OnlyFans for other things, but the fact of the matter is that that's just what people know it for now. And so they're going to create just for lack of a better term, a hole in the market. And
see what you did there.
And so, and so I think some other platforms going to fill it. And so, yes, that's they dropped the bag there. And of course, the second loser is Sha'Carri Richardson. I think that we've said it all. She needs to lay off the weed, lay off social media, and just get back to running. I also think, honestly, first of all, she's 5'1", and so
yikes.
Yeah, I mean, you could be a short, fast runner, but like I think that she's at a significant disadvantage. Yeah, so. Agreed. And then my winner is The Weeknd, who just made history again with Blinding Lights, a song that is now almost 2 years old and just spent his 88th week on the Billboard Hot 100, which is the longest stay on the chart in history.
Congrats.
Yeah, right. And that song is still in the top 20. Like, it's crazy. So big shout out to The Weeknd. And yes, that is my winner. Emmanuel, thanks for stopping by. Before you leave, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. You can find me on IG and Twitter at Consummate Style, CONSUMMATE, style, all one word. Ron said, I definitely want to thank you for the pleasure to connect, man. It's always love and vibes every time that we get up on here.
True. All right. Episode 46, No Hipsters Pod. Talk to you next time.